for teachers, what kind of uh, advice, I think, that you could give to them for uh, for I think noticing or uh, identifying possibly children with trauma. So you're a teacher in the classroom, you're there for the first day or second day, doesn't matter. And all of a sudden you look and you say, these are red flags going up that could be kids that are really experiencing trauma.
Well, some of the most common and probably obvious are kids that are kind of more isolating and kind of keep to themselves. I think those are kids because we're really not by nature wired that way to isolate and keep to ourselves. And so that would be something I would look for. I would also pay attention to their demeanor in the classroom. Are they aggressive, acting out? Whether that be just kind of disruptive in the classroom, whether that be aggressive with other students, irritable, agitated a lot, tired, like not getting enough sleep. It's a huge issue for me, like in terms of something I address with everybody, the impact of sleep on our ability to deal with just life in general. So do they seem more fatigued? Are they focused? Do you just notice shift in the child, like if you happen to know this student and then all of a sudden they're not quite themselves, what's going on in their personal life? um, so those would be things I would be looking for.
Okay. And any other kind of suggestions for teachers once you notice these kinds of things? What would be your, in your experience, the best approach to a child to maybe probe into maybe some of the things going on in their life?
Well, I would, if there is a particular teacher, and it can depends on the age of the child, whether it's like you have the same teacher throughout your day, and then there comes a point where you have different teachers. But if there is a teacher that already has a bit of a relationship with that student, that I would go with that first, like let that person be the one to approach them because they'll feel a little bit more of a comfort level. But if not, if it's the same teacher in every class, then just to sit down and just I would point out specifics because if just say, hey, are you okay? I'm fine.
Yeah.
Right. So kind of like teens, the big joke, how was your day? Fine. So it's more about kind of sitting down. Hey, I've noticed these things. Point out two or three specific behaviors that you've noticed. And I'm, I'm just kind of concerned about you and wondering what's going on. Try to ask an open-ended question instead of "Are you okay?" What's going on? How are things at home? Tell me what's going on there. If you happen to know anything about their home life, like maybe a sick parent or something, asking about that. How's your mom doing? I know she's been dealing with cancer, or knowing something about your students' lives. It's sometimes a big ask depending on how many students you have. But if you have an opening that way too, that could be helpful. But I think starting with these are some specifics I've noticed, because then that student's like, oh, they are noticing. I can't just say fine because I can, but obviously I'm maybe not being truthful because it's going to be obvious to this teacher because they're noticing some very specific things that they're pointing out to me.